Hey gang, and welcome to another Animal Crossing video. I'm Crossing Channel, and a few days ago we got our first data mine for the 1.11 update for Animal Crossing New Horizons, and it revealed some very interesting things that we potentially could see in the future of Animal Crossing New Horizons. In this video specifically, I'm going to be taking a look at potential future villager updates that we could see that could improve the game. Past Animal Crossing games had a lot of really fun villager interactions, as you can see on screen, so it would be nice if we got some more updates for our villagers to help improve them in this game, when honestly they desperately need it. So let's check out some of these updates that have been data mined, what we could see in the future and more. Let's get straight into this. So the first one on the agenda is something that I briefly mentioned in my past data mine video, but I want to look at more in depth here in this video. Now, this was data mined by Stony, who's a part of the Animal Crossing New Horizons Discord server, so I have to give big thanks to them. They've found so many interesting discoveries with the game, so we couldn't have done this without them, basically. And they mentioned in their message that there is an unused type of approach villagers can do called Approach Fortune, and links to unused event flows, NPC Approach, Fortune Friendship, and Approach Fortune Item. And Stony kind of speculates that it could be related to luck. Now, when you read this outwardly, it does kind of seem connected to that feature from past Animal Crossing games. If you didn't know, luck was a feature that was basically connected to Katrina, and it would kind of determine how your day goes in each Animal Crossing day. So it was really interesting in a sense, because it maybe would give you either bad luck where you might trip, or you wouldn't get so lucky with how much money you find, or you'd get good luck and you just see a bunch of great things happen. It was a really interesting mechanic, but they didn't bring it back with Animal Crossing New Horizons like with many mechanics. So it could actually be something that does return in the future, and maybe this time around, instead of your fortunes being given to you by Katrina in her little fortune telling tent, it would be given to you by your villagers, and your villagers would approach you. Now, I actually do think this is pretty likely, because we have seen villagers do this, a very similar thing, where they come up to you, they sort of walk up to you, and they give you your reactions throughout the game. And this is something that previously Dr. Shrunk did, so it would not shock me at all if villagers took this sort of placement and they instead gave you the fortunes. Now, one really interesting thing that we notice here is that it says Approach Fortune Item, and I'm sure that makes a lot of you think of a certain feature that was in past Animal Crossing games, and especially in Animal Crossing Pocket Camp, and this was the Fortune Cookie feature. Now, do I think Fortune Cookies will come back to Animal Crossing New Horizons? Potentially, I do. I don't know if they'll be like the ones in Pocket Camp. I certainly hope not, because these ones are all heavily based around microtransactions. So I think if they did bring them back to New Horizons, they'd be more similar to the New Leaf version. And basically, the New Leaf version was something that was sold at the Nook shop, and you could go there and you could get them with your play coins. So obviously, it'd have to be something different in New Horizons. Maybe your villagers would actually give you the fortune cookies instead this time, and you could get some cool Nintendo related items from them. There was a ton of really great items. Now, the ones in Pocket Camp are obviously a bit controversial in that game, because like I said, they are heavy microtransactions, so even though they have a ton of really cool items in them, you have to spend a ton of real money if you want to get most of the items. So I don't think New Horizons will take the same path. That would definitely be a shame if they did, and I think it's more just something they would port over from Animal Crossing New Leaf. I reckon it would be very similar to that game, but it definitely could unlock a lot of new items. Now, the closest thing that we really have to luck in Animal Crossing New Horizons currently is the falling over and tripping feature, which you can do with balloons, and obviously the King Tut mask as well, which I'm showing off in this video. So I don't know if luck could become more of a thing, and it might directly involve your villagers this time. I think that would personally be really interesting, because it would just make seeing your villagers and having them approach you a lot more interesting than it used to be. Nowadays, when villagers approach me because I've unlocked all of the reactions, I often don't feel the need to talk to them, and that's definitely a shame. Of course, in Animal Crossing New Leaf, they'd also approach you to give you public works projects, which is something I didn't really like. I'm kind of glad they changed that so you can just put items outdoors, but maybe there are definitely more approaches and interactions that we could see coming that would help improve the game. Now, something else that is really interesting that was data mined quite a while ago that I have talked about previously in my videos is the feature returning of villagers visiting your house. Now, this feature basically seemed so complete that a modder, Le Saltzboy, was actually able to put the files back into the game and see what it would look like. And it is really interesting. It seems like there's a bunch of dialogue for it already made, so this is clearly a feature that Nintendo will probably add at some point in the future. Now, something that I didn't know that I do want to go over in this video that I think a lot of you will find very interesting is that the sort of code for this was hidden or removed in the Festival update way back in January. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, okay, so that means this feature was scrapped, it's not coming back. But that's actually not necessarily true, because things like the roost, which we've seen datamined in the past 2 updates, which has become, a really big talking point for the community because it really does look like we're actually getting that now, that returned after being hidden by Nintendo for ages. Nintendo is actually probably pretty aware of the datamines for the game and has taken the time to hide these features. Now, another comment I've seen on these videos before is that because people datamine, Nintendo will see that and not give us the features, and that's absolutely not true. They wouldn't spend all the time working on these features just to hide them from us because we, datamined them. That's not going to happen. They will most likely eventually release these. I sincerely doubt a feature that is built up this much is scrapped content. A lot of other stuff you could argue has been misinterpreted by fans of the games, and maybe we just don't have a great understanding exactly of how it works because it is just datamined code. And of course, nothing that is datamined is guaranteed to come to a finished game, but I do think that something that's so complete like this will eventually make a comeback. Nintendo just clearly has some kind of strategy about when they want to release this content, and we don't know what that is yet. It could be in a year from now, it could be in 2 years from now, but it does seem like these villager interactions will definitely make their way to the game. Now, in terms of other interactions, I'm sad to say I don't think it's been datamined at all that we'll see the very popular hide and seek feature return. Now, this is incredibly sad because this would be the type of interaction I'd probably want to see the most, maybe even more than villagers visiting your house. I think the reason why they took this out though was deliberate. It wasn't them just not wanting to bring the feature back, but I think they feel like because we can terraform our islands so much and be crazy with them, it just wouldn't work very well trying to find our villagers. Now, personally, I'm on the other side of the fence. I believe that it would be even better because it would be an actual challenge to find your villagers. In Animal Crossing New Leaf, when playing hide and seek, it was incredibly easy. Now, hide and seek could be improved upon so much in Animal Crossing New Horizons with better items, maybe exclusive items for playing it. Right now, I believe the only thing that's even similar to this, which is new to New Horizons, is the villager treasure hunt, which is such a rare interaction that I'm sure there's plenty of you who are going to be in the comments who don't even know the treasure hunt exists. Definitely let me know in the comment section if you knew it existed or not. There's of course another one where villagers will lose their items, which is basically coming back from the past Animal Crossing games. That's kind of a mini game, but it's not really the same type of thing where a villager will literally come and approach you and want to do something. So there's a lot of these that they could add, but as far as I know, they haven't been data mined, and it doesn't seem like they're going to bring back hide and seek, which I know will disappoint a lot of people. But what do you think? Do you think we're going to see more villager updates and interactions come to the game in the near future? I definitely think so. I believe that they will improve villagers. It's probably one of the most common complaints. I know though that no matter what they do with the villagers, there's still going to be a lot of people who prefer them how they used to be in past Animal Crossing games, and I totally get that. I don't think they're ever going to go back to the level they used to be, but improvements are improvements, and I definitely would like to see more of them. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you made it to the end of the video, be sure to comment Bob's Gang, and if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe and turn on channel notifications for more Animal Crossing videos.